All year round, Frontier Home Products and Design has what you need to make your home comfortable and beautiful. Relax on a new timber tech deck designed by Frontier's experts. A new fireplace from Frontier Home Products Fireplace Gallery adds warmth and serenity to any home. Beauty and versatility at Frontier Home Products and Design Center, 4213 Peachtree, 5th next to the Bayfront Highway.
Frontier Home Products and Design Center. Discover a new frontier.
PA contractor number PA039007.
Get paid to drive. Start a new career behind the wheel at the EMTA. If you are looking for a high-paying and rewarding career with full benefits and paid training, stop by or apply online today with the EMTA. Plus, EMTA riders can now enjoy free Wi-Fi on new, clean, and environmentally friendly buses to travel all over Erie County. Visit ridethee.com for more information.
Get on board EMTA. Get on board EMTA. Get on board.
Welcome to TalkErie.com's Joel Natale Show, Erie, Pennsylvania's daily podcast. Every day, we tackle the biggest issues that the Erie, PA region faces. Stay informed and involved as we advance the narrative of Erie. Now, here's Joel Natale.
I'm excited to have this crucial conversation that Erie needs with the executive director of Erie's Black Wall Street. It is Kyra Taylor. Kyra, welcome back to the show. Appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Awesome. Glad. I know you're not able to be here, but I'm glad that you're able to be on the show. We will not be able to take any phone calls because Kyra's on the Zoom. But if you have a question, you can always text it to us here. But I wanna kind of get like a 2024 year in review with you to start with here, because I feel like you really moved some major, can I say even mountains in this past year?
Yeah, 2024 was monumental for us. We were able to ramp up our Pathway to Home Ownership program. It was the first year that we were able to offer $10,000 but we offered it to 5 people. So I was really excited about that. And then we also had our new Wall Street Ventures program, which is a business cohort that's a business development and business accelerator and community maker, all wrapped into one program. We got to graduate that class of people. We had a partnership with the Erie Blues and Jazz Festival. It was just a beautiful year for Erie's Black Wall Street. And then to top it all off, ending the year off with receiving a grant from the state to purchase our own property and to make it a community center that really will be focused on digital literacy as well as entrepreneurship as well. So really excited about what 2024 had in store for us and what it provided for us.
Let's start picking some of those down, and let's start with the last one first. I'm interested in the felt need to boost digital literacy and actually having a place for people to go to kind of find out what best of practice is when you're using everything from the internet to AI to to finance and all that. So unpack that for me, if you would, Kyra.
Yeah, so we actually had a partnership last year with Tech to Elevate, where we provided some in-office hours for people to come in. If they had any type of tech question, whether it was their phone, questions on phones and how to get on Facebook and Instagram and all of that type of stuff. We had some people take advantage of that, but we wanted to create a place that, we had the computers available to have people to teach them. So maybe we're doing one on one computer and having it on another computer, so people can learn these things in real time that a lot of people learn by doing. And so if you're doing it for them, they're not necessarily going to learn how to do it or remember how to do it. And so we really wanted to teach that. We really wanted to make sure that we're breaking down additional barriers, access to information and access to technology and knowing how to utilize technology. I am oh my gosh, I don't know what the word is. I love all things AI.
Yeah.
and I am forever learning. And so, for someone who may not be as computer savvy as me, I can see why and how AI can be scary. And it's unknown. And so, wanting to teach people how to use it in their everyday lives, whether it's business, whether it's personal, I even use it to plan my meals and plan family vacations. So, really wanted to just help break down some additional barriers there.
So, what do you think? What will this community center be like? Will it be full of computers? Will there be, lounge space? I mean, like, what do you anticipate? Like classrooms? What's it look like there?
There's going to be a little bit of everything that you've mentioned. I can't give too much away,
Okay.
but it is going to be a space that is going to be welcoming to all.
Hmm.
We kept different minorities and different businesses here in mind when thinking about this space and utilizing local companies to do the work here, wanting to make sure that our dollars circulate back into the Erie community as a whole.
So, when would we see like a ribbon cutting? Do you think?
Oh, if I had anything to do with it, the ribbon cutting would be in June.
Okay.
However, we're probably looking at maybe next June.
Okay, so about 18 months or so
Yeah.
before we can see this. Again, a community center that's owned by Erie's Black Wall Street to really build up that digital educational quotient. All right, what else? You were the thing before that. You were talking about the new Wall Street ventures, more like a business incubator and things. Talk a bit about
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
So this program takes people in whatever stage of business that they are, and we have two tracks. One is a individual track, which we only accept a few of those per year, and then the other one is our cohort track. And so with that cohort, every month, twice a month, they meet and they learn different things when it comes to business. Um, and it could be we had an AI specialist come and tell them how they can use AI in their business, no matter what type of business it was. We had talks about finance and getting how do you get a loan, how do you become loan ready,
Mm.
um, legal. I mean, anything that you need to know, we covered it, some at a high level, but some at a more in-depth level. And then one of the things that I believe a little bit different about our program is that we are definitely meeting people where they are at. So, for example, there's a young woman, her name is Rosalind Beeson, and Miss Rosalind is visually impaired, but owns a business called Relax You. It is loungewear. And she
Huh.
created this business because she was a working woman and wasn't able to work anymore, and was supposed to be homebound,
Hmm.
and she just wanted something, in her words, that would make her feel cute every day and happy. And so clothing is one of those things. And so she has beautiful loungewear sets. And so we tailored our program, even though she was in that cohort, we tailored it to the needs that she would have as a visually impaired business owner.
Hmm.
So it really dives deep on what it is that each business owner really truly needs, what things they may face in business, and then we really promote the importance of community throughout this cohort. And so just to see them working on things and referring each other to, or referring clients and customers to each other's businesses, we even had two that actually worked in each other's businesses. So it's really such a beautiful thing. One of the people who went through this cohort was Natasha Ties. She is the owner of A Taste of Love Cooking and Catering,
Oh yeah.
and she will be opening up hopefully next month, sometime, her own restaurant. This has always been a dream come true and a dream of hers, and we wanted to help make it a reality, but she needed to get the business side of things. She can cook amazing food, but she wanted to make sure the business side was solid before she took on this endeavor. And so just to be able to provide these entrepreneurs with the information and the resources that they need, but also the support is extremely important.
Well, I mean, that seems to be the issue, right? With anybody in a startup is they might be have a task or a meal or an idea that like they are just passionate about and they can put rockets on it and it could go. But the back office stuff is really tough. What do you think like some of the greatest tribulations that a small business or a startup are dealing with that you're able to kind of guide them through? I mean, probably think I've heard the phrase, you don't know what you don't know, right? Is that where a lot of this comes from?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. You don't know what you don't know, but a lot of times what I've seen in business with business owners is that they think they have to do this alone, that they have to do everything by themselves. And the key to a successful business is knowing when to ask for help, who to ask for help from, and having other people that you can rely on. I think about us building Erie's Black Wall Street. We could not have built Erie's Black Wall Street by ourselves. We needed the help of the Erie Community Foundation and the Hammond Health Foundation and EGRA and all of our community partners. We needed the help from our community. You know, we have people who specialize in different fields. You know, Northwest had people come out and talk about mortgages in the home buying process. We needed to have all of these things in order to make our program great. Bridgeway Capital last year helped support our New Wall Street Ventures program as well. And so we needed all of these things and all of these entities and groups and these people in order to make it what it is today. And I want business owners to think about it in that way too. When you're trying to grow and scale your business, I am not a financial expert. That is not my expertise. However, I know somebody who that is their expertise. And so when I got them involved, they're like, okay, well, you need to do X, Y, and Z, and this is not going to work, and this is going to work, but you need to tweak these things. And I'm just like, my mind is open. And that's what really happens when you get different people amongst different sectors involved. You know, this year, Mr. Brian Slaywin from Ben Franklin Technology Partners is going to be assisting in our new Wall Street Ventures programs because he is a wealth of knowledge when it comes to entrepreneurship. So we want to make sure that we have community helping community. And one thing that I think makes this even more wonderful is that people get to see someone that they can work with. They get to hear them, they get to learn from them, and then they're creating that connection.
Kyra Taylor is with us from Erie's Black Wall Street. Erie's Black Wall Street serves as a vehicle for change and empowerment of Erie's Black community through meaningful relationships, education, social networks, and the promotion of Black entrepreneurship. Our vision is we aspire to create a culture of Black excellence and wealth in Erie, inspiring generations to come. That really is the foundational felt need of building generational wealth in the Black community, isn't it?
Absolutely, absolutely.
So talk about how you identified that, though. Like, you know, again, through the conversations, through the experience of saying, you know what, we can do better than our current situation.
So yeah, that was to make this into a nonprofit to do the work that we're doing now. It all stemmed from those reports about Erie being the worst place for Black people to live. And, you know, when reading that report, it showed that there was a stark disparity in home ownership. Home ownership amongst Black people was only 1.9% in Erie County, which, yeah, it
Well,
was
because
that.
I was always dealing with 4, and I've been a gog at 4%, but it was actually 1.9.
It was at 1.9%, and most recent reports is at 5.54%. That was back in September. And I love to think that, and I do think that Erie's Black Wall Street had a big hand in that. The other, and I'll get to that in a moment, but the other thing that really inspired us to do the educational piece of this is, in that same study, it was showing the income disparities between our white brothers and sisters here versus the Black community and other communities here, of about $25,000 for the median income. And so we wanted to help educate people on financial education or financial literacy, as people like to call it. We wanted to make sure that people knew that home ownership was obtainable. And so that's how our programs were birthed. I like to think of myself as a historian, and I love research and I love learning. And everybody that started this organization and that is in this organization too, they love learning. And we needed to teach people the reason why you needed to have a good credit score. We needed to teach people, how do you budget properly, even if you're on a fixed income? How can you budget and then be able to save money while you're on a fixed income? How do you prepare for home ownership and not just getting the home, but what do you do after? Like this year, we were able to bring in fixed home handyman services, and they were
Mhm.
able to educate people on basic repairs that they can do themselves. That a lot of people would think that they have to call someone and pay for the service to get done, but these are simple things that they can do at home by themselves. And so, really, just education is the key to being able to have a more thriving life, not just surviving, but to be able to thrive. And once you spark that education in someone, that is contagious. I see people who have gone through our first budgeting workshop and then our credit workshop and then our home program. They have now had this now they have this fire within them that they want to learn more, they want to do more, and they want to be more involved in our Erie community and give back to our Erie community. And that's how we make Erie better as a whole.
Talk about and this is kind of a universal situation here. Some of this comes down to choice of career, right? I mean, you know, if you go for the professional route, if you try to be, whether it is an attorney or a plumber, I mean, an African American plumber, like a white plumber, could make, six figures, no problem, if they have the skill set, right? How much of this is about embracing those high earning potential jobs, realtor, banker, and so on?
Yeah, so it's really about letting people see what they can be and letting people know that, hey, you don't have to just go one track. You can decide you want to be an electrician. And did you know that electricians make X amount of dollars? And then when you tell people, their eyes widen, right? And they're
Yeah.
like, oh, yeah, you can do that. And then I have someone who, like my husband, is an electrician. I can now show you someone that is an electrician. And so, being able to see these different fields, I always say people need to go into aviation. I mean, we
Oh,
have
wow.
an airport here. We have a youth training for flight school down in Meadville. We have the flight school here. Once you're older, like Erie has this abundance of resources, and you can get very far. You just have to know what's out there and what's available, and that you can do it.
Does the representation, though, is important, isn't it? Like seeing somebody like me in those fields.
Absolutely. I always give myself as the example. I walked into a college classroom and I saw this Black woman who was just being unapologetically herself. She loved learning. She was a nerd. She loved all things Marvel and superheroes. And I was just like, wow. And she's like, you can do the things that you want to do. If you want to make change in the community and start this thing and grow your own business, you can do all of those things. So now I have that person, who was championing me, who looked like me, who made me feel like I can do these things. And I absolutely love Dr. Rhonda Matthews because she was that professor for me, and that was the first time I had a Black professor,
Mm.
or a Black teacher. And so being able to see that I could be my true authentic self, I can, on Valentine's Day, ask my husband to take me to go see the new Marvel movie. Like I can be all of these things. I can also lead an organization or run my own company. So it absolutely matters.
It's interesting, to just and whether it is that mentor or whatever, opening up the possibilities.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like that's what you guys are all about at Erie's Black Wall Street, of like, okay, this is where you are currently on the continuum, but think about where you can be, and here is the trajectory of what that looks like.
Absolutely. And that's one of the things with our new Wall Street Ventures program that I like. When we're doing our intake session with people, we're always like, well, have you thought about this? Or what if you did this and you collaborated with this person? And now your businesses can refer people to each other and you can have joint clientele. And just to see people's mindsets get, their eyes get big, and you see tears coming out of their eyes because they hadn't thought of these things, that they truly make this business a reality. I have a video on our on our Facebook page of Miss Roslyn that I mentioned earlier, her intake session. To see that it's possible, she was in tears and moved, and it was just an amazing feeling.
Quickfill gasoline is made right here in America. United Refining Company, who operates Quickfill, refines its gasoline from North American crude oil in Warren, Pennsylvania. When you buy United Refining Company gasoline at Quickfill, you keep jobs and businesses in America, and you keep American families strong. You don't need to send your money overseas when you buy gasoline. Buy American-made gasoline at Quickfill. Quickfill, driving America.
From baggage claim to pajamas in 10 minutes. Erie International Airport. Fly with ERI.com.
Fly Erie International Airport to Charlotte on American Airlines, your nonstop gateway to the world. Also, we have Breeze Airways flying nonstop to Orlando and Tampa, Florida. A great low-cost carrier providing excellent service to the regional community. Fly Erie International for your travel needs.
Fly with ERI.com.
Kyra, my eyes basically bugged out when you gave me the statistic that when you came on the scene, part of the felt need was this concept that Erie was one of the worst places in America for African Americans to live, and you mentioned a statistic of under 2% African American home ownership.
Yeah.
It's just unreal. Now that's up to 5.5%, and you're not taking your foot off the gas. You're shooting for parity. I would think. Why not, right?
Go big.
Go big. So tell me about the pathway to home ownership. Go through the details of what that means, because you really are starting with the nugget of just getting your finances right first, right?
Yeah, so Pathway to Home Ownership program is my favorite thing that we do here at Erie's Black Wall Street. So what it does is every Saturday in the month of January, we have 2-hour classes each Saturday. Now, I'm a stickler for time, so people have to be on time and they have to be there for the entire session each time. So we start off with, are you financially ready to buy? And so we talk about, what does your credit look like? And are you saving money? And these are the things that you need to do to get prepared to be a homeowner. And then we come in with our next session, which is a 2-part session. So the first part of the session, we have our mortgage piece, which we talk about getting a mortgage and that process and what different mortgage products are out there. And then the second one, we talk about budgeting for after you get a home. Things to think about, how much you should be saving, common problems that go wrong and that need to be replaced, water heaters and roofs, and things like that. And so those first 2 sessions are heavy on the financial aspect of things, right? We want to make sure that you're making a sound decision when it comes to purchasing a home. So then the next 2 sessions is the home buying process is the next session, which walks you through almost everything. But it kind of reiterates some of the same points that made through the first two sessions. And then the last session is realtors and their roles. And then we also bring different community organizations in to let them know what their products are and what their services are. So in the past, we've had St. Martin Center come in and talk about their services. We've had our West Bayfront come in. We've also had Habitat for Humanity, because everybody's pathway to homeownership is different. This year, as I mentioned earlier, we had fixed home handyman services come in and talk about those repair services for after they purchase the home and stuff like that. And so as far as the criteria of what people need to how they can enter to win this money, they have to have a minimum credit score of 600. They have to have been employed for at least 12 months, and that probably will go up this year to 24 months. But you have to have employment. You have to attend all of the home buying workshops, and you also have to be in process of buying a home this year. You have to buy the home this year. And then you have to write a personal statement. And this personal statement is judged heavily. And this is how our selection committee chooses. So our selection committee is comprised of one EBWS board member. It's comprised of one community member. And then the other person is one past winner this year. And so we had our past, we give them only 3 pieces of information. They have the credit score of the person, and they also have the income range, and then they get their personal statement. All identifying information is redacted so that the committee does not have any biases. And they base their decisions off of a rubric that we created for it. Their readiness to buy. Have they identified that they've taken any additional steps? Do they say that they're financially ready? What is their credit score looking like? What is their income looking like? So all of these things factor in to help make that choice. And so this year we selected 5 people to win $10,000 each towards the purchase of their home. Now, the homes do have to be in Erie County, not just City of Erie. We've made some homeowners in Mill Creek and in Fairview. So it has to be Erie County because we want the county as a whole to be strengthened, not just City of Erie. And so, yeah, that's pretty much that process. Like I said, the selection process is anonymous. People only get a number assigned to them, and then that selection committee cannot see any additional identifying information, no name, no email, or anything like that. To really create a fair and equitable system, making sure that whoever comes in our door for the Pathway to Homeownership program has a fair chance. And so that's how our program works. And I'm so excited to create. We've created 14 homeowners since 2021. And this year we will have created 19 if all 5 people do buy their homes. And like I said, they do have to purchase that home in 2025, or unfortunately they do forfeit those funds.
What's astounding and amazing to me that it is, I just appreciate it so much, is that it is merit based. I mean, basically the personal narrative, the ready to buy, and the credit score. I mean, that's something that this person has had to work on to get to that level of success, right?
Absolutely. You know, if you want to purchase a home, this is the biggest purchase most people will have in their lifetime. And we want to make sure that you're doing the work. And yes, we're providing some funds. However, we need you to have some skin in the game too. You have to show up. You have to have done some work prior to getting to us. And even while you're in, I know there's several people, unfortunately, that they did not win the money from us. They got the education, but they were already in the pre-approval stage.
Okay.
So we want people who are actively working towards home ownership to come into this program.
So $10,000 in today's market, is that enough to cover a down payment, or are people having to come up with some down payment themselves? I guess I have not bought in 25 years, so I have no. I mean, the interest rates and all that are very different now.
Yeah, so depending upon the home that you purchase, it may be a perfect amount. We
Okay.
actually started at $5,000, realized that was not enough. That's
Mhm.
just a pebble in the sea.
That might cover some fees, basically.
Right. Then we moved it to $7,000. And then thanks to the Erie Community Foundation, Hammett Health Foundation, and Build CDC, as well as a private donor, we were able to increase it to $10,000. But depending upon the price of your home, really, that's what matters a lot. Um, for the most part, it helps, but there's typically a little bit more costs
Mhm.
that you have to have when you go to purchase your home. One of the things that I always think of, we've had a vast range of home prices, of home purchases in our program. We've had somebody purchase a home for, I believe, in the mid 60s, $60,000, and we've had somebody purchase a home in the 300,000.
Wow.
And so all of those different ranges need different amounts. So it helps. For some, it helps a lot more than others, but there are a lot of other programs out there, like a First Front Door, that you can stack this money with, and if
Hmm.
you qualify for. So it helps. It definitely helps. And if I could give more, I would.
Yeah, right. It's interesting too that again, your work at Erie's Black Wall Street is not in a static environment. It's in a dynamic environment. The housing, like we were saying, housing costs are going up. Interest rates have not fallen. I mean, they're not horrible, right? I mean, we're in the sixes and sevens, right? Which again, heck, I paid six, back 25 years ago. Not horrible, but it is. It's one of those things that you're able to be a little bit agile, but the home buyer is needing to be agile. It's remarkable how this particular program is really moving the needle for a lot of people and for the community at large, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. One of the criteria that I didn't touch on is the desire to build community.
Okay.
And that to us is really important. We want to have people who are going to be stakeholders in Erie, in their neighborhoods, and investing and giving back to the community too. And so what we have done is we have definitely moved that needle. We have educated well over 100 people on
Mhm.
home ownership, but also, that sense of belonging, that sense of community. And that's really a big thing here at Erie's Black Wall Street. You hear me say it 1,000 times, is community, community, and
Mhm.
community. When wanting to take Erie's Black Wall Street to the next level, I wanted to make a place where my daughter could grow up in a better Erie. And Erie has so much potential to be even better than it is now. And so we want to just continue to help along that journey.
Before we run out of time, I want you to hit on some of the events that you've got coming up, and we'll start with the Greenlight Business Awards Gala coming up here on Friday, February 28th. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so I'm really excited about our Green Light Awards Gala. So from November to December, people vote for their favorite Black-owned business here in Erie, and then we celebrate those winners, the community picks, in a major way. So we have an awards gala, and they're able to network. But this year, we wanted to do something very special, and we wanted to bridge the gap between Black and African people here.
Hmm.
And so this year's theme is African themed. It is Ujima, which means collective work and responsibility live here because, like we said, we all have that collective work towards making Erie a better place. And so, really bridging the gap. And so, we have Erie African Arts, who is providing the decor for us. We have Aunt Sumana custom tailoring that's going to come out. We have Palace Life Supermarket, who's located on Parade Street. They're going to be there selling their goods and their services. We have Leslie's Creations, who's gonna come out and sell their beaded jewelry. We have African performers, and just to have a cultural night of unity. That is the goal of this year's gala, is collective work and responsibility, and this has to be unity. So People can buy tickets on our website at eriesblackwallstreet.org. They are $75, and it is going to be a wonderful night. We're going to have fun. Everybody gets all dressed up. It really looks like a red carpet event.
That's cool. Do we have a growing African-born group coming into Erie these days?
Absolutely, absolutely. Their population is, and their culture and community, I want to say, is growing. And we want it to be supportive and we want to be collaborative in our efforts in making sure that Erie is a welcoming place for all, but that we can all thrive here together and really have some fun and create some meaningful relationships here in Erie.
Well, we'll have to talk to some of the folks that are coming in. I'm interested in what countries that we're drawing from, whether it's the West Africa or East Africa or so on. That's interesting. What other events do you have coming up here at Erie Black Wall Street?
So we have our Black Women Lead, which stands for leaders, entrepreneurs, activists, and dreamers. We have that brunch coming up. And then we are going to have a Juneteenth celebration, which we do our Juneteenth Mix and Mingle on Friday. Okay. This year, we're hoping to have it on the Victorian Princess. And then the following day is our Juneteenth block party that we do in conjunction with Erie's Juneteenth celebration, who's been doing it for over a decade here. And we came together to make this event a big community-driven event. So those two are going to be something that weekend is going to be amazing. June 13th and June 14th this year, we invite everybody to come out and celebrate, listen to good music, have good food. There'll be bounce houses and all these activities for kids to do. Erie's Black Wall Street gives away a bunch of bikes and scooters and hoverboards. It's just a good time. So we invite everyone out. Thank you to Erie's Juneteenth celebration for allowing us to come in and assist with that event. It's just all of our events are a good time to network and fellowship with one another.
We're almost out of time here with Kyra Taylor, but Kyra, I want you to share a story, maybe the one that pops in your mind, of just significant life change that has just really has been rewarding to you, that you've seen in one of the folks that you've dealt with through your work.
I have one person that automatically comes to mind, Miss Latoya Mathis. When we first started Erie's Black Wall Street, she went through our credit program. She then went through our budgeting program. She then went through our pathway to home ownership and ended up winning the money towards a home. She purchased a beautiful home in the city of Erie. And then she now is like, I want to do more here in Erie. And now she is a graduate of our New Wall Street Ventures program for starting her own daycare. Wow. And so that'll be coming this year, launching this year to the public. But that is the testament of having the education being readily provided and seeing people who look like her being able to do these things. And then even seeing how she's encouraging other people to get involved and to invest in not only themselves, but in their families and in their community. So I love her story, seeing how she has gone from one place and now how her trajectory is only going up.
That is really amazing to hear. And we expect such great things in 2025 from Erie's Black Wall Street. We're glad that you're doing what you're doing, and Dr. Rhonda and everybody at your team here. You've got some great supporters of it, and count us as one too. So come back and tell all the great news as we go along in this year. Kyra Taylor, Executive Director of Erie's Black Wall Street, thank you so much.
Well, thank you for having me.
You've been listening to The Joel Natale Show, Erie, Pennsylvania's daily podcast from TalkErie.com. Subscribe to our show on your favorite podcatcher and get involved by emailing joel@TalkErie.com.